Greetings again. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt with the American Orthodontic Society, and I want to talk to you about bending some arch wires and what we do with arch wires. And so I use omegas on the back of each arch wire that we use. We just make a little loop in there, except just real flexible wires that we're expanding the arch wire with. We don't use them in the same manner, but they'll have little up bends in there. And let me get in here and show you what we do with the arch wire and how you make them. Now, we've figured out a way that you can bend them with a plier, and we call it just an omega plier, and you put these at the end of the arch wire, but just next to the bicuspid, so you can expand the arch wire or retract it, and you can take it out and work on it and put it back in and still tie the arch wire back fully. So let me show you this to get started with, so you know what I'm talking about. Now this is the plier that we figured out. It was made for a clasp, but I started making omegas with it, and everybody wanted to see how you did it, so it became an omega plier. And now, basically, we're going to put an arch wire through this right like that. And I'm going to open this up, and this tongue will go down and push that in, and kind of makes a loop in the arch wire like that. And so, let me get on to the next picture. There's the plier just in whole. This was a German-made plier, was a very accurate plier. Now it's a little bit crowded if you try to run a 022 on a point 022 arch wire through there. So I don't use 022. I use an 018. Except that's an 8. We do most of our work with 0175. That means it's 17 thousandths in this dimension right here, and it's 25 thousandths in the other dimension. That's the arch wire size that we do most of the work that we do with in that wire, with 1 thousandths of slop or clearance in there. So you'll help you understand that. Now we'll go. Now that's the plier, and here we are. We have the plier open, and we're going to lay a 175, 1725 arch wire in here. That's like this dimension. This would be 17 on the ends, and it's 25 in this direction, on the horizontal direction. Then you lay this plier right in here, and now you're going to bend that, and you put a little mark in it right on the edge where you go, and that mark will be the mesial part of that omega. All right, here it is. Now you close up again, and that's the plier again. I don't know why we got so many pictures of it. And here we close it together again. Now, here is looks like a 1725 arch wire. In other words, it's 17 here and 25 in that direction. We put it in there, and it'll handle that without breaking it. Now, if you have if your 022 brackets, your arch wires are larger, you can use a smaller arch wire in there if you want to make these. And now we're going to mash that plier together, and there we go down. Let me go back here now. You put a mark right here. You see that mark on the plier? That's going to be the mesial part of that arch wire, the omega. So let's go down, and you'll see that mark go in. You see the mark right up here. All right, you go all the way to the bottom with it. Now the mark is right up here, and the wire is it's kind of off to the side of that, but it goes right here like that. Now we take it out, and we've got an arch wire with just something like this, but we got to put an angle to it. So we want to angle the arch wire back, and that's where we take it and run the arch wire on this side, comes together like that, and then come out. So you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about in here. We're going to pull it out of there. Now we're going to put the arch wire in this sloped portion. That's a confusing arch here. The arch wire, we'll just take it out of this portion over here, and we're going to put it right in this part there with this sticking out. And then you can see it better over here. All right, now we turn the plier over. We put it in here. We got a lot of slop inside here. But we're going to push this together, and you see this angle right here. It's going to put an angle onto that arch wire. We got it up there close. There's the mark we had on it. It's going to be on the medial side of it. We squeeze it together there. It's hard to do this with a pair of pliers that make it come out that easy. I mean, you can take this and just clamp it. Ladies that learn how to bend these arch wires, they put those little makers in there while you're batting your eye, you know, almost. And we use those on virtually all the arch wires to tie them back. We can take them in and out without changing arch wires totally. So now it's got that bend in it. So here's this arch wire coming over. It was like this, and then we squeezed it, and now it's like this. Now this is the front or the medial wire. This is going over like this, and we're going to do it over here. Now, while we're bending this stuff, and if you haven't bent this, don't think about this as just being flat. I mean, always there's something on the other side. So just kind of keep that in your mind. And so you bend one over here, and then you go right across and make another arch, another omega. This is the tail end of the wire. And when you make these loops, you use up part of the wire back in this area back here. And you're going to have a little left over when you get through, and you cut that away. It's thrown away. All right, now we bend those down. Now we've got, when you're working, you've got a molar that's big and a bicuspid in between here that is not quite so broad. And so if we want this to slide into the tube on the molar, we need to have the arch wire come along like this, and the omega will be up here, and then you have to bend this out. So we bend this wire right in this area, and you have it come along like this, and then it'll come out this way, and now this is in a different plane from the other part of the arch wire. And I realize if you haven't done this before, you get confused with this. We use a small plier with a 1/2 millimeter tip to it. It's tool steel. They last forever almost. And you grab it here, and then you pinch this, and you go in, and you're coming over here, and you catch that, and then we'll twist it over here and go out that direction. All right, let's get another here. All right, here we grab the leg of the omega, twist the wire over here, and now we're going to bend this going out in that direction. All right, we do that. Now we probably need to tilt the omega out to keep it from poking in the gum. So if you're coming around with the arch wire and you've got this omega coming up here, we need to tilt it to the outside just a little bit. And so you bend the tail end of the arch wire up. And now we're going to bend the omega, come out in this direction. and now that'll stick out. And then we can keep the same torque back here if we grab that and bring it out like that. All right, now here is the wire with the omega, and it goes out to the side a little. It's coming in here, and now it's going around. It's going to be over this side. We have the same thing with the omega. So think about it like that. All right, now we put some bend in it. We catch this omega, and we'll rotate it to the outside slightly. Now that changes the torque in this part, but it doesn't in this part. We're holding this right here, the mesial part going around. We hold it, and now we're going to bend this omega. We're going to come out to the buckle with it. We're going to tilt it out. And then that'll add torque to this part. So we have to come up and catch this and remove the torque. Now we're going to catch it, and we'll take the torque out of it. And now the torque is the same way here as it is here, but the omega is leaning out to the buckle. Now this, I guess, I know people go look at this and say, I won't ever learn how to do that. But you can do it, and we have ladies that bend these arch wires. I mean, they've been doing it for years. They've been thousands of them. And these ladies go with me, and a lot of times we teach lectures and have the dentist come in, and I'll have 3 or 4 of these ladies that are very good with wire benders, and they'll try to teach people how to do this. All right, now we'll clamp that and straighten it all up, and then now we've got the arch wire. Now you can see here as we come around with this, and now this goes over, and it comes over outside and up a little and then back. And you can bend the tail of it up so you can see it. So you can cut this off, and you slip this onto in the mouth. Now here the arch wire is in the mouth, and the omega is sticking out buccally, slide so you don't stick into the gum tissue here. Now you can tie this back, and if you want to bend this wire in like this and touch this back tooth with it, or if you want to band that tooth, you can change the arch wire where it'll fit through a tube in the second molar back here. Now we'll come over, when you do that, you have to change it down like this, and you have to put this in a convertible bracket. And that's what we use, these convertible brackets on our 6-year molars, but not on the 12-year second molars back here in the back. Now I can touch that with a double optical plier, and I'm going to go through that next on this, and we'll show how to use this double optical plier. It'll bend, you can bend it back into this over and touch this too, keep from catching it and hitting you in the cheek back here. Now there, this wire is a finished wire with the same torque in this as you have in this. Even though we rotated this out, we took that torque out of there. And now if we wanted to torque those teeth, you'd catch up behind the cuspids, and this whole thing would go out like that. And you put this, what we call buccal root torque in there, but then you have to use a large arch wire to keep it out. The force of the lateral force is overcome by torque. Torque will overdo it. So let's see this. I believe this is all we're going to talk about on the omega, and we're going to go through a separate video for several of these different arch wires, and we'll try to do that this morning. So thank you for watching, and this is the way we put the omegas in, and it's going to take some, you're not going to learn how to do this in one trial, so you're going to have to sit down and do this or have somebody get with you to do it. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to close out now, and we'll come in and bend the double optical plier for next.